guys, Roxy Sims here, and welcome to my speed build. Today, I am building some painted ladies. As you probably already know, we got a new world with a Growing Together expansion pack, and that world is called San Sequoia. And of course, San Sequoia is based on San Francisco. And the painted lady houses in San Francisco are just iconic. I mean, it's almost the first thing I think of when I think of San Francisco. The first thing I think of course, is the Golden Gate Bridge, which San Sequoia does have a very special bridge that's supposed to, emulate the Golden Gate Bridge. And the number two thing I think about when I think of San Francisco is the painted lady houses. So, number three is probably like sourdough bread, but number two thing I think of when I think of that city. So, I just had to have some painted ladies for my San Sequoia. I was hoping that some beautiful old Victorian homes that San Francisco is so well known for was going to be in this world already. I was sad that I had to add it in, like it was non-existent, none of them at all in the world. I've at least looked around a lot trying to find some, and I haven't. So I think they just really don't exist in the world at all. So that was quite unfortunate, and I wouldn't let it stand. I just fine, I'll make them myself. And because there are no cool Victorian houses in the background, that means no cool Victorian things came with the pack. So, unfortunately, on the outside, I don't get to use very much stuff from Get Together. But don't worry, because I am using stuff from Get Together on the inside. Craftsman stuff came with this pack, which that does make sense. That's a very typical kind of house that you would see in a California suburban area. So, makes total sense. And good thing that we already have quite a bit of Victorian stuff already in the game. Some Victorian stuff came in Strangerville, and definitely you can use some things from the vampire pack. I feel like I'm missing things, but point is we have Victorian stuff already, so I wasn't I wasn't missing out on too much. I feel like I really got to make them look very Victorian, even though no Victorian stuff came in this pack. I do wish we had a bit more detail that we could add to the exterior of Victorian homes, because if Victorian homes are anything, they are detailed, right? There is so much stuff going on the outside. Oh, and that brings me to, I'm sorry, the camera is going to be moving up and down a lot. Totally apologize for that. Nothing I can really do about it, because I am trying to add decor and details and decoration to the outside. So yeah, it's inevitable. It's going to be bouncing up and down. Sorry about that. Anyways, these painted ladies, they appear to be 4 houses, but they function like one. I definitely had to make more than one, because painted ladies are never alone. They always have friends. So I had to make 4 of them, but I really only wanted this to be for a single family for my save file. And so what I've done is I've raised the platforms in the other 3 and decorated 1, because it's just a lot more usable that way. This way, your sim won't try to go off into another house and watch TV. So yeah, whenever it's a community lot, I tend to fill up all the buildings, because it's not really a house anyways, and you can just go off into any part of the build and use any part of it. But for an actual residential build, this just seemed like the better way to do it. But of course I decorate the outside of the other 3 houses just so it looks like you're not the only one living on this lot. I wanted it to look really lived in. Oh, and that also brings me to, I forgot to record this, but do you see the buildings that are next to this? There's a blue one, and I think a white one and a pink one. So those are actually, I put them there with a tool mod. It was an empty lot to begin with, and I just really didn't like the looks of it. It looked like the lot was abandoned or something. So I put houses that I found in the debug section that look the most like a painted lady, and I put them over there. So if you download this, that won't come with the build. Unfortunately, you would have to add them yourself with the tool mod, just to let you know. And of course, you don't need the tool mod in order to download this build. That's one of those mods where I can use it, but you don't need it. But I would always highly suggest it if you are a builder and you're on PC. It's really cool. So whenever I started building these, I actually realized that I didn't really know why they called them painted ladies. I had a suspicion. I mean, look at them. They're like pastel and painted all these cool colors. So the term just makes sense to me, but I actually looked it up. And so here's officially, Wikipedia says, the term was first used for San Francisco Victorian houses by writers Elizabeth Pomada and Michael Larson in their 1978 book, Painted Ladies, San Francisco's Resplendent Victorians. So now you know, the more you know. Da-da-da. Apparently these row homes were very popular in the 1860s after the gold rush. Like, builders were trying to show off their new wealth and stuff, and so they made these very detailed homes. And they weren't always painted like this. They were painted, I think, like very dull colors before. But then tons of people started painting them all these bright colors in the 1960s. And now it's this ginormous tourist attraction in San Francisco. Not just San Francisco, it's one of the most popular tourist attractions in the entire state of California. I was actually reading this article. It was this journalist, and they were talking to a person who actually lives in one of the Painted Ladies. And it just sounds so absurd to me because they walk out their house and they see that just 100 people are taking pictures of their house, which it has to be wild, doesn't it? It's definitely not for me. That's why I don't live in a Painted Lady. And the fact that I don't have millions of dollars to buy one. But even if I did, I don't think I could quite handle that. And she says that it is a lot to handle. But lots of people come up and tell her just how beautiful and how amazing her house is. So she thinks that's pretty cool. And I bet it does feel pretty good to live in such an iconic house, you know? I don't know about you, but the very first time that I have ever seen a Painted Lady was in the opening of Full House. And I think I'm probably not alone in that. I think that's a lot of people's experience. I had no idea what they're called at the time, but I do remember looking in the background and seeing all those awesome houses in that in the opening of the show. And I just remember thinking like, wow, those are amazing. I haven't watched the new Full House show, but I wonder if they kept the Painted Ladies in the opening of that show as well. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm trying to make San Sequoia a bit more like the real San Francisco by making it a bit more city-like and like adding the Painted Ladies and stuff like that. So if there is anything that's just that you think of whenever you think of San Francisco, let me know down in the comments. I want to make sure to add as many of the like big city / San Francisco things as I possibly can. So I would greatly appreciate any ideas for that. Especially if you've been there, tell me what it's like. I want to know because, you know, I've never been able to go there. I've never been able to go to California at all. Not the entire state. So the closest I've been is like Portland and Salem, Oregon. That's the closest I've been. So, not in California, many hours away still. So I definitely like to go at some point. It's on my bucket list. Oh, you know something cool that I did not know before I started doing this research about Painted Ladies? Okay, so get this. Painted Ladies is actually more of a general term. So, it's like a Victorian house, and it's painted in like 3 colors. I think that's like the general definition of a Painted Lady. And apparently there are like popular Painted Lady areas in other cities as well. It's not just San Francisco. I had no idea. There's apparently some in Cincinnati, in Baltimore, and in St. Louis. I live in Missouri, and I've been to St. Louis many times, and I had no idea. So next time I'm in St. Louis, I'll have to check them out. Well, now that I'm almost finished with the exterior of this build, I want to talk a little bit more about the sim that I was making this house for. So in my save file, I will have it for a single mom, and she's a single mom of a teenage daughter, and she has put her career, you know, before kind of anything. She's like, I don't have like a job picked out for her, but I was thinking something very professional. She's very educated and just, you know, is top of her game in her work. But her oldest daughter is, you know, she's almost ready to leave the house. So she realizes, well, if I want another kid, I better hurry up and do that because time's running out, you know, because she wants them to be in the house at the same time, her 2 children. So now that we have science babies, I figured that's what she went with. She has had a science baby. They're a girl as well. And I put a bassinet in the infant room. In the baby room, I guess, because infants are now the older one. So I put a bassinet in there because I was thinking that they were still a newborn. And that's why there's not a lot of like baby stuff around the house. I was thinking that she very much likes her house to be in a certain way. She likes it to look very nice. She's hired a designer to come in and decorate it. And so she's going to begrudgingly have baby stuff all over the place eventually. Like, I imagine it's been a very long time since she's had a baby. And so she thinks, oh yeah, I can handle such big things in my work. Then I can definitely handle this. But it's going to be a little bit of a wake-up call kind of thing. I thought that was a very fun storyline to go with. She thinks that she'll be able to keep her house all very nice and, magazine worthy and things like that. But as the baby gets older, I'm imagining that the baby stuff's just going to explode in the house. And even more so when the baby turns into a toddler. The toddler's just gonna take over the house. So if I play with this sim, I'll just gradually add more and more kid stuff to the house. And as she loses control little bit by little bit, I think that'd be fun. And I'm excited to show you the bedroom for the teen as well, because I had a lot of fun with that. And I decorated it for like a gothic hippie style, which was really, really fun. And I was thinking I put in some protesting posters in there. So she's definitely an activist. And I think she looks up to her mom and sees the big things that her mom has done in her career. And she's like, yes, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go into politics and I'm going to change the world. So yeah, she's got big dreams for sure. Which I realize the terms gothic and hippie probably don't go together with politician, but that's kind of the point. She's like, I'm going to be a different kind of politician because I actually care about the world, So she's going for it. I tried decorating this house in a traditional way, a way that would fit in with a Victorian house, but I didn't want it to be a dated traditional. I didn't want it to be dated at all. I wanted it to be apparent that this was recently decorated, have touches of modern things. Because I think that's just who she is as a person, is a very traditional, but classic and modern all at the same time, all mixed together. I think of her design style as being very timeless. She's definitely a modern lady, no doubt about it, but I feel like she's also romantic, so she romanticizes a design style of yesteryear, if you know what I mean. And since she is a bit of a romantic, I of course had to add a little tray by the bathtub with a book and with a candle and a flower, and I put little vignettes, of places where she'll have her book and she'll read in some of the nooks, the window nooks in her house. I feel like that's an important thing to do. I've heard this said before online, and it's romanticize your life. And I think I'm 100% on board with that. If you want to, sip on some hot tea and read a book by the window, looking out longingly outside, do that. I think romanticizing your life is just the only way to live for me. I have always done that, and I just think it would be boring not to. It's too boring. Life's too boring as it is, so I'm definitely going to jazz it up with some romanticism. We are on to the baby room now, and it has reminded me that I wanted to tell you about how if you look around the house, a lot of it still needs to be baby proofed. In this room, there's a radiator, and she's just put up a chair and some stuff in front of it because she's just trying to do some. She hasn't thought all of this through. The impact. She's a very smart lady, but like I said, she hasn't had a baby in a long time. And so there's a lot of things that the baby's going to be getting into that she'll eventually need to baby proof. Of course, there's not actually baby proofing in The Sims. It doesn't really matter. But, of course, you can pretend. That's what I do whenever I'm playing The Sims. Yeah, I gotta pretend a lot. So we're down in the bottom floor of the house, which is kind of the teen area. There's also a garage and a laundry room. So we've got like the area when like you first go down the stairs. The teen's kind of taken that over as like her hangout spot. But the mom doesn't want all of these decorations. As you see, I heavily decorate this room. So mom's like, okay, you can decorate in here, but tone it down just a little bit, you know, because I have to like bring my friends through if they come in through the garage or whatever. So it's toned down a bit, but still has the teen style. And she can hang out and play video games and whatnot in there. And she's got her own bathroom down here, so very lucky. Just think of how easy it'd be to sneak out down here, you know? Having a teenager live down here be way too easy. But I figure this mom, she's very trusting of her daughter. And like I said, her daughter is like not too far away from moving out. So practically an adult already. She trusts her very much. She's a very responsible person, so she didn't worry too much about it. Did you guys ever sneak out when you were younger? I know I did. A few times. Not very many though, and I never did anything bad. Like, I was such a good kid. So yeah, it was pretty much just sneaking out, just to hang out with my friends, just to see them. But then I got a little bit older and I didn't really need to sneak out anymore. Mom was like, I trust you. If you say you're, you know, going and just hanging out with your friends who were also really good kids, yeah, it didn't bother her. Well guys, we are pretty much finished with this video. I just want to thank you so much for watching. It really means the world to me. As always, this build will be uploaded to the gallery so you can download it from there. But if you need the tray files or if you just like to support the channel, you can do that on my Patreon page, which I will have linked down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will talk to you all again in the next one. Bye everybody!